So you're just one relationship away from a breakthrough in your business. And I want to share, I think, a really powerful story that's going to illustrate this. So let's do it. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri, Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. Hope you're doing great, having an amazing day, all that good stuff. And I was just watching a show called Emily in Paris on Netflix the other evening with my wife. I love Paris. I lived in France playing soccer. So actually my parents lived in France, Paris specifically, for 7 years before I was born. So I guess I have a bit of a draw to the city. I love it. Anyway, so I was watching the show mostly because it's in Paris, not because anyways. So what was interesting is the main character, her name in real life is Lily Collins. And I happened to just do a quick search for her. And then I noticed that her father was, or is, Phil Collins. And I was like, that's pretty cool, right? Now, that's not surprising. There's a lot of actors who have sons and daughters who become actors themselves. But what's interesting is Phil Collins' story. So I don't know if you know this, that Phil Collins was a cab driver before he was Phil Collins, the singer we all know him as. And he kept in his car, in his cab, demo tapes. And way back in the day, and I can't remember exactly when this was, but Richard Branson, when he was just starting Virgin Music or Virgin Records, whatever the name was, he happened to be in Phil Collins' cab. Now, obviously, he had no clue who Phil Collins was. No one did. It would be like walking into an Uber and having no idea who Mohammed is or who Joe is, right? But the difference here was that Phil basically left Richard Branson one of his demo tapes. And he said, listen, I would love it if you could listen to this. Obviously, Richard did. And we kind of know how the story ends. Phil Collins became this international sensation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was thinking about this morning, and I was like, how cool is that? So here's a guy driving a cab, okay? He's just kind of worried about doing his own thing. He's kind of making his own life. He's not even thinking at the time. He doesn't even have a daughter. He's not married at this point. He's just trying to make money driving taxis. And several decades later, here comes, his eventual daughter, who becomes this star of Netflix, has, 20 some odd million followers on Instagram, and has become, in her own right, a pretty cool celebrity. I share this story with you because hopefully it illustrates the power of one relationship. And I want you to really understand this, is that everything you want in your life, like in your business, in your life, in anything, everything you want is one relationship away. And this is where I feel that there's a major disconnect in how people achieve certain levels of success in their life. And if I look at my trajectory, I've shared this many times before, when my first 3 years in business was sheer isolation. We'll put it that way. It was stubborn, rugged individualism. I didn't want to connect with anyone. I thought I could do everything by myself, and that doesn't work. And if you're in that position, I promise you, it's not going to work. It never will be. It never is going to work, because everything you want is on the other side of a relationship. Now, I'm not saying a romantic relationship. I'm saying one person can open up the door. And here's the funny thing is, you may not even know what door that opens. You might be thinking you're going to get something, and then 5 years down the road, something else happens. I'll share a couple examples with you here. So when I hired my first coach after 3 years of struggle, it was, again, more money than I had made in the previous year, but I knew I needed to do it. So I invested in the coach, joined the mastermind, and made some very good friends. We'll just put it that way. I made some tremendous connections. To this day are some of my, great business colleagues and really good friends. One of them ended up being invited to his wedding a number of years ago. We've been on trips together. We've shared amazing experiences. And what's interesting is that I believe, and here's the funny thing is, a lot of times we don't even know how this stuff happens. So I was introduced, he actually introduced me to another group, kind of an informal mastermind that was kind of like for men, etc. So I joined that group a number of years ago. And I was in that group for about 3 years, and then I had kids, and it was just, I couldn't make time for the trips and the gatherings and stuff. But what was amazing is in that group, I met some more amazing people. And one of those situations, and this is just one of many. So one of the people in that group was, and I'm going to save their names for the sake of privacy. Okay. But you may know him if you're in the online fitness space. Very well-known person. We actually had dinner together at one of these gatherings for the mastermind. We're sitting across from each other, and we just started talking about high school. And it ended up that we actually went to the same high school, but we were about 3 years apart. I had no clue at the time. I had no idea who he was. And here I am. I'm like, really? We went to the same high school? Because we had connected loosely over the couple of years, but nothing really nothing substantial. So we're having dinner and we're like kind of serving the same space. And we're thinking to ourselves, like, we went to the same high school. He kind of knew me. I didn't know him as much. And we just started connecting and building a deeper bond and deeper relationship. Over the years, we started, getting closer and doing more business together and just, supporting each other in different ways. And it's just like one thing opens after another. Like there was just one more relationship that came from that. That opened up another door to something else, something else, something else, something else, something else, right? As another example. So we have a client who had no clue who I was and had seen our stuff on Facebook, like our Facebook ads. And at some point, 2.5 years ago, decided to book a call with us and start working with us. So she starts working with us, great person, starts getting great results because that's the type of person she is. And then we decided a couple months ago to take her on as a partner client. So we're doing some stuff on kind of like not publicly. We're not advertising this, but we just kind of take on a couple clients to work on a kind of paper performance partnership type of model. And so we bring her on, and she introduces us to two people that she thinks would be great at sales, right? Because we're looking to bring on some more salespeople to support their businesses. So one of them she introduces to us. She starts doing sales for her. Lo and behold, we have dinner a couple of weeks ago. This person's pretty awesome. She's on the same wavelength as us. And now, her and my wife are good friends. So I'm sharing all this with you because everything you want is a relationship away. But the thing is, you don't know what relationship that is. And I have to tell you, first and foremost, I would say that I am more task-oriented than people-oriented. And I think that's really, it's kind of shot me in the foot quite a bit because I'm always like, I got to get certain stuff done as opposed to making time for people. And it's something that maybe it's my Achilles heel. And I think it's limited me in a number of ways. But every time I think about this, like if I'm stuck on something, last week I was considering, we're building out a new strategy for some of the stuff we're deploying on the marketing side. And I was like doing some research into it and I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm like, okay, I've not really done this that well in the past. So why don't I just pay for someone who's an expert, get an hour of their time and just time compress the results. So that's what I did. Just went to the guy's website, booked in a consult with them. I'm like, here's the money, whatever, let's jump on Zoom. And in the space of 1 hour, I saved myself many weeks of headache and mistakes and whatever. And who knows now what that relationship could open up with, right? So I share this video with you, hopefully to inspire you to, number one, understand that from a free perspective, just connecting with people is probably it's a very good thing to do. But also, I want you to consider any investment you make in a coaching program or a mastermind. And I want you to think of it not just directly in respect to the ROI you make from that. Because that's not the true ROI. The true ROI is the ROI you can't see 10 years down the road. It's the ROI that comes from meeting one person or two people or five people that you strike up a tremendous relationship with. And all of a sudden, 5 years down the road, you're like, how did we meet again? Oh yeah, it was I think we met in this one place. And then I don't even remember how I met most of the people I know. But I promise you, it didn't happen by me hiding behind my computer. And I want to encourage you to consider that, you get what, like you in life, you get out what you put in, right? If you join a mastermind or a coaching program, your results are your responsibility. How you show up, if you jump on calls, if you lean in for support, if you do the work, that's up to you. It's also up to you to connect with other people if you want to. Like, you don't have to, but you can certainly reach out. We have some clients in our HBA coaching program, just amazing. They started their own book club. They have meetups in the UK now. And it's just so cool to see some of our clients in like Germany, the UK, all coming together for these cool dinners. And I was like, that's so awesome. So beyond the work we do together, like, they have now formed relationships and friendships that could last a lifetime, right? That could blossom into something completely different than what they may have envisioned a month ago or 6 months ago or a year from now. But the thing is that you'll never know until you try. The thing is, you'll never know until you open that door and step into the room. And so, very much like Phil Collins, just, fortuitously had Richard Branson pop into his car one day, left him a demo tape. Richard Branson signed him on to Virgin Music. He became this big star. He gave birth to a daughter who became Lily Collins, who is now the star of Emily in Paris, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of this starts with one relationship. So don't hide behind your computer. Put yourself out there. Put yourself in situations where you're going to be surrounded and immersed around great people, because you just never know what can happen from that. And one thing that I've realized too is I've invested close to $1 million now over the past 10 years in coaching, masterminds, et cetera. And a lot of times we're asked, like, what do you want to get out of this event? Like, what are you looking to get out of this 2-day workshop or this, mastermind meetup? And a lot of times my answer is, I don't know. Sometimes I have a very specific question I want help with. And other times I just show up and I'm like, I just want to show up and let unfold what will unfold. Because we can't foresee the magic that will unfold in front of us. But it also helps when we have a little bit of intentionality to, whether it's stated explicitly or even beforehand, we're just, thinking like, man, I would really like this problem solved, or I really want to meet this type of person so that, this can be done, or whatever. When you set that path of intention, and the clearer you are about it, the easier it's going to come into your life. But if you also just allow the space to just create magic for you, it's pretty cool what can happen. So anyways, I want to encourage you to consider that. I think, investing in yourself in no way is, in every way is always the best investment you can make. And hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if there's been a situation in your journey that you can relate to, right? Just, you can just drop a quick comment below. Let me know if this is something you can relate to, if there's a relationship or opportunity that has come your way as a result of this. And I'm going to share one final story, which I think hopefully illustrates this. So a number of years ago, I joined a mastermind, high-level masterminds, like guys like Brendan Bouchard, Dean Graziosi, et cetera, are in it. And at one of the meetups, I met a really cool guy who I hadn't known before, but I knew of him in the nutrition space. And we got to connect after one of the meetings, and we're like, hey man, we should do some stuff together. Like, we have similar audiences, we could cross promote. Anyways, so he had a launch for the tapping solution, if that rings a bell. And we were one of their top partners. So several months later, they hosted a mastermind, a private event for their top partners who promoted the event. So we were one of them. So I was invited to this private mastermind in New York. So I go to the mastermind, I'm in the room, and who is there? Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House. Never knew he existed, never knew him, but I knew who Hay House was. And I was like, this is pretty cool. At the time, I had a book called Eating for Energy that I thought was going to be an amazing book that I had written, that I'm like, I would love to get this published. And because I was in the same room with him, I literally went up to him and I said, hey, Reed, listen, I love Hay House. I love everything you guys stand for. I have a book idea that I think would be really powerful for Hay House. And so he said, cool, let's jump on the phone this week and tell me about it. 3 days later, I pitched them the idea, drew me up a contract. There we go. And that was my first published book. It became the All Day Energy Diet, became a #2 New York Times bestseller. That book then unlocked a huge 2-book deal with Rodale. Now, None of that would have happened had I not made that initial investment to join that mastermind, and had I not been in the room to meet this individual, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So anyways, I'll stop talking now, but I could go on and on and on and on and on and on with how important it is to be connected with other people, and how you are just always one relationship away from really unlocking everything you want in life. So hopefully that inspires you. Go out there, connect with people, and don't be afraid of investing. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. You will always win.